Welcome to SWAYAM online course on urban local governance, and I'm Dr. Ansuman, today going to discuss on a very important topic on poverty and urbanism. To understand poverty and urbanism, we should understand certain terms, and to understand those terms we need to go in depth about those terms and the meaning of those terms to understand poverty and urbanism. It is very important to understand poverty at this juncture with the increasing population, and we know that urbanization is also positive and also negative. To understand poverty and urbanism, we will today discuss on an important factor called Human Development Index. To understand Human Development Index, we need to look into two concepts. One is growth and the other one is development. Now, what is growth? Growth is a quantitative and value neutral change. So, it is abundance of change, it could be positive or it could be negative. Growth is not pertaining to say it is always positive, whereas development on the other hand is always positive. It's also emphasis on qualitative change, which is value oriented and value positive. So, when there is development, you also should understand there will be growth and also it is a positive growth. So, comparing growth and development, we can give suitable examples. Now, when you take growth, we talk about population growth. So, you know that population explosion, when a growth of some product, then you know that it can be positive or it could be negative. As far as development is concerned, it is positive. Now, when you say development of administration or development of the city, then you understand it is positive. So, you should understand the difference between growth and development. Growth can be positive or negative. As far as development is concerned, it is more positive and it is value laden, meaning to say that when you learn about concepts of development administration of RIGS, it means positive growth and positive development. Now, what is this Human Development Index? Human Development Index talks about the quality of life of the people, the quality a country enjoys, the opportunities they have and the freedom they enjoy. The important aspect of HDI will be the development, Human Development Index. So, here again we are talking about the positive. So, we are trying to show that if a Human Development Index is shown, that means this is the positive growth of this many people in this particular area. It is a quality of life of that group of people. It is a standard of living. Now, we can compare the standard of living, say for a small city or a country like India, when it was 10 years back and 10 years down the line. So, how do we compare? Maybe we will take the products, the food products, how much it has increased, what is the value of a product. Now, if you say in a developed country, usually the value of food products or essential items is more or less the same, maybe a few cents higher. Whereas in India, you can see a spike in certain products like onions going high or tomatoes going high. It's because of negative impact, and it could be an inflation or a artificial inflation cost. And so, it shows that the quality of life may not be standardized. So, there is a urgency to look into the development of that particular place if you see that some kind of spike is happening or inflation is happening. So, the concept of human development was introduced by Mr. Mahbub ul Haq, who actually propagated the idea of development, which enlarges the people's choices and improves their life. So, Dr. Mahbub ul Haq with our own Dr. Amartya Sen propounded this theory of Human Development Index. But the credit, I think, should go to Dr. Mahbub ul Haq to consider the quality of life and also he envisages that people have choices, and it is important, if the quality of life has improved, the people should have choices and there should be improvement in their lives. Dr. Mahmood ul Haq is a Pakistani social scientist, and also he also figures out what are the parameters required for Human Development Index. There are 4 pillars of human development. Just like a building which needs strong pillars to hold down, human development also requires some pillars. It cannot just happen just like that overnight, and it does not happen when a person is stagnant. There should be some kind of inquiry. So, if you see the concepts which sustains Human Development Index is the aspects of equity, sustainability, productivity and empowerment. Now, equity refers to making equal access to opportunities available to everybody. There is a difference between equality and equity. Equality means equal share for all, but as far as equity is concerned, what a person should rightfully get. Now, if you say minorities or reservation policies, they should get equal opportunities as the majorities in that particular area. So, equity is equal sharing and opportunities for everybody without any discrimination depending on the need. Now, the reservation policy is a very good example for equity. Why do I say that is? Equity of opportunities. Now, they do not have opportunities. Say the tribals of India will not get equal opportunities because they are not aware of. So, giving them a reservation would actually promote them or empower them and give them chances and opportunities to come out of their sphere and also help them grow. So, second point is sustainability. It means the continuity in the availability of opportunities. So, it is important to have a sustainable livelihood, a sustainable living conditions. Now, if you see old cities like Chennai and so many other cities will have its own sustainability. Even after so many years, you will see the same publishing house, the same opportunities, which is not eroded during the time and during the modern aspects or the modern reflections or the modern force. So, that sustainability is very essential, so that trade and commerce goes on, and also livelihood patterns is sustainable. And even if you say that one fine day we are having everything going as media oriented based on technology. If you see the newspaper also, it goes in all the social medias and it goes into as e-prints, but still there is a group of people who still believe in reading the newspaper, the hard copy of the paper. So, that is sustainability. Productivity here means human labor productivity or productivity in terms of human work. What is the output? Now, you see that human beings or human resources is an investment, because it only becomes wiser and matured and experienced as years go. And you see that India, as far as India is concerned, human resources is an advantage, is an asset, and it is a good work source because it is promoting livelihood and also giving us resources and cheap labor. Empowerment, on the other hand, means empowerment must have the power to make choices, like for women, the power to make choices, to go to work, to make the right choices, to make the right decisions, and also for all people for making the right choices of say a democratic living. Now, if you see, democracy also plays an important role as far as human development is concerned, because democracy promotes the idea of choices. Democracy also promotes the idea of equity. Democracy also gives impact on sustainability and the quality of the output. So, you see that a country resonates on these 4 factors, and also it will be a more democratic country. Now, the origin of HDI, that is Human Development Index, is can be given to Pakistani economist Maqbool ul Haq in 1990, along with Amartya Sen, upon the capabilities and functioning which provided conceptual framework for the Human Development Index, and was published by United Nations Development Program. And this became, I would say, a path-breaking, resonant aspect as far as Human Development Index is concerned. So, defining Human Development Index is important. What is Human Development Index? It is a tool used to measure a country's overall achievement in its social and economic dimension. Now, we are going so much into research, but it is also important to understand the social and economic status of a country. So, the Human Development Index can be defined as a composite statistics of life expectancy, education and per capita income indicators. We already know that human development is based on the equity factor, the sustainability factor, the productivity factor and the empowerment factor. Based on that, it was found that it revolves on few important parameters, which is life expectancy, education and per capita income indicators, which is used to rank countries into 4 tiers of human development. So, Human Development Index is a measure of economic development and economic welfare. We see that economy plays a very important role as far as development of a particular country is concerned. So, what are the factors which is considered for Human Development Index? We see that HDI provides a single index measure to capture 3 elements, which is long and healthy life, access to knowledge and a decent standard of living. The key parameters are life expectancy at birth to assess a long and healthy life, expected years of schooling to assess and access to knowledge of the young generation, also the average years of schooling to have access to education and also to understand the gross national income of a particular area. 3 parameters, which is life expectancy, education and the income levels. And you see that these are all connected. If you have a good and healthy life, you know that the education should be good and also the income levels to good, so that there is sustainability, equity, there is empowerment and also productivity. Now, measuring human development, the first aspect is education. The adult literacy rate and the gross enrollment ratio. So, we need to understand the literacy ratio of that particular place. Now, in India, if you see, Kerala has got 100% literacy rate. So, adult literacy is an important aspect, and the gross national enrollment ratio is also something which needs to be considered as far as education is concerned. Whether all the seats are full in the government schools and whether any other aspects are taken into consideration, and so that the seats are all full. And it represents the access to knowledge, easy access to knowledge. So, the government of India has played a major role in accessing to knowledge. The number of adults who are able to read and write and the number of children enrolled in schools show how easy or difficult it is to access knowledge in a particular country. Of course, we would see that the midday meal scheme, which is in most of the schools, government schools, made mandatory, and that also has increased the enrollment rate. And also parents are permitted to work and leave their children in school under safe guidance of the teachers. So, access to resources is measured in terms of the purchasing power also. So, we see that India has got a great purchasing power, nearly 3rd in the world for purchasing power, and we compare that to the US dollars. So, education plays a very important role. It is not an easy thing to say that education is very accessible. It is not accessible to all the people because of the living conditions, because of poverty and so many other reasons. So, it is necessary to for the government to have programs so that the children are able to access school and are easily accessible at say a place which is very close by. You also know that the purchasing power is also an important point. So, education will help in livelihood and in turn it will help in purchasing power. So, if you see the dimensions, you see the long and healthy life. So, you need to have some health programs and health initiatives. Then the second part is the knowledge aspect. So, you need to have minimum years of expectation of education, minimum years of schooling to the expected years of schooling, and also to calculate the GNI, the gross national income per capita. So, how can you know the gross national income per capita? We will see the income of that particular area and also see the purchasing power. So, from the long and healthy life, you get a life expectancy index. From knowledge, you will get the education index, and from a decent standard of living, you will get the gross national income index. So, calculating all the above, you get what is known as the HDI. If you see on the presentation, you will see the slide has got a life expectancy index. Life expectancy index, which is giving you the minimum age is 20 and 85 is the maximum age. Now, it has increased. Before it was much less. The mortality rate has improved as far as India is concerned, because we have health standards maintained, a lot of interventions, medical tourism, and so many government schemes which is promoting health aspects and giving insurances to the poor has also improved the life expectancy. And so, the mortality rate if you see in India is 85 years. And then you see the education index, where you take the mean years of schooling, and you know that the mean years of schooling should be at least 15 years, and expected years of schooling index, and you know within 18 years you need to complete your 12th standard at least, and then you have the income index. So, when you compare all these three, you take the cube root of life expectancy, the education index and the income index, then you get your human development index. So, when you calculate as far as India is concerned, now we have 0.586, and maybe it would have jumped a little more, and it has improved so vibrantly that India is focusing on developing education system, having good health standards, and also having a livelihood pattern which could improve our HDI. So, a comparative study was done as far as the HDI is concerned, and we found places like Kerala and of course, Tamil Nadu has been improving as far as the HDI is concerned, because the education standards are high, we have enrollment, high enrollment, we have the life expectancy is improved because of medical tourism, and so there is a plan or scheme for improving the HDI. So, you know that HDI reflects also the poverty level, but we also need to work on the challenges of poverty. Now, when you take an urban city and urbanization, we know that the concept of poverty is also tagged with it. Why urban poverty is tagged with the concept of poverty is it's because we see that there is increase in population, there is congestion, there is a lot of issues related to urbanization. So, we would promote that to the growth aspect, the growth of population, the growth of education, and growth of education should be development of education, because growth should not be that there are number of schools without giving quality education. So, knowledge should be promoting and giving them ideas and opportunities. Now, we have lot of innovation centers as far as schools are concerned. Many government schools are also promoting the idea of having creativity and innovation as part of their teaching and learning mechanisms and methodologies, so that we can see students improve, so that they have a better lifestyle and the standard of living improves. So, if you take poverty, you have the causes of poverty. We need to understand the causes of poverty. We need to understand the issues of urban poverty. We should understand the causes, issues and challenges of urban poverty. Now, if you take in Asia, 69% of the slum population is in the urban cities, and the majority of the slum population is in Asian area countries, which is a cause of concern. We know that the slums are increasing, and what has been taken, what is the measure taken, that has to be analyzed. The reason is the causes of poverty is, one is the working poverty, okay? Because even if the schemes are given, sometimes it is not used for that purpose, it is used negatively. Then the housing schemes, for example, when the housing schemes are provided, it's used negatively, not for their improving the living condition, but it is used for increasing the income. Remember, the most important aspect, essential aspect for a standard of living is food, shelter and the quality of life, and it is not for say the extremities which we see, like we see on one side a Lamborghini being parked in a parking lot, and at the same time you have beggars and people are short of food. So, this is extreme poverty. So, there is no balance in an urban city. So, the working poverty should also stabilize, the livelihood patterns, so that everyone in that particular area should be able to achieve some minimum standard of living. The inequalities is so stagnant, and you see this consumption of water, essential products is increasing, and the household patterns is also changing, that it is becoming very thickly populated. And also we see that there is rural migration to the urban cities. There is lack of opportunities, and these lack of opportunities cannot be blamed to the government also. It is also necessary to understand that there should be some measure taken by the community itself, so that education and some kind of advocacy and awareness is contributed. This can be done only by an engaged participation by the people themselves, and the opportunities can be derived by small entrepreneurship programs, skill sets. Now, if you take that there are some people with the right skills, but they do not get the right jobs. There is so much of competition, there is nepotism, reduction of nepotism, and also it is important that there should not be any kind of I would say corruption, so that the right person, meritorious person gets the right job with the right skills. And also lack of affordable housing. Either the housing becomes too expensive, so people try to live where their livelihood or their job area is nearby. So, it is important to see that the place where they are living is close by to the employable area. Otherwise, it becomes too expensive. The travel becomes too expensive, and that is why you see that the slums are increasing, because people cannot afford the high housing, and they prefer to stay in the slums, so that they are near their livelihood. So, the economy of that particular place needs to be studied and how it can help distribute the wealth evenly to the people living in that area, which is contributing to enhance the standard of living. You can't see that there is extreme poverty in that particular area where one person is benefited and the other person is not. The rich becomes richer and the poor becomes poorer, as quoted by Dr. Amartya Sen. So, urbanization has a negative as well as a positive impact. And what is the positive impact is that there is growth, there is development, and this growth is positive growth. And as far as urbanization, negative impact is the growth of the population, growth of congestion, growth of pollution. And so, poverty is an important aspect which is also attached with urbanization. Overcrowding. Overcrowding is a measure which is happening because of the need of money or the need of place to stay, or need of employment. You can see many people move from rural areas to the urban areas for want of money, and that is why overcrowding happens. So, the government has brought in the MGNREG scheme so that it can help people live within their rural area and have a strong livelihood within that particular area. It is also bringing up one important issue because of poverty. It also resonates the fact that there is some kind of dilution of hygiene, personal hygiene. We saw the impact of COVID. We saw how personal hygiene became an important aspect to overcome the disease. So, hygiene becomes an important aspect. Lot of urinary tract infection because public toilets are used, there is not enough of restrooms. The education system also becomes very diluted because of various reasons. Because of poverty, people drop out. School dropouts is one of the issues which is faced because of poverty, urban poverty, or they are driven by their dreams and they move to other places so that they go in search of better livelihood and they compromise in their education. The dropouts has to be readmitted to any government schools. If there is a provision for that, then it would have been very easy for the education system to improve. So, once a dropout, then it becomes difficult for readmission. So, this is a concern which the government is also looking into, so that there is readmission and there is also education which promotes not only values, ethics, but also skill, so that they are able to sustain with the given poverty conditions in an urban area. We see that India is ranked around 131 as far as the human development is concerned, and we have nearly 400 millions of people living in the cities. So, the increasing population is a cause of concern, and we need to look into measures to improve these poverty conditions. And how do you improve it? By having a strategy, by having a framework based on engaged participation of the people. There should be some government schemes which will enable the NGOs also to participate and also the community to take over the government schemes and promote and propagate amongst the people, so that they have a good living condition. It is also important to have employment centers to make employment exchange an important aspect, so that people get their jobs, and at least some basic jobs should be available to the people who are approaching. Some social security systems should be arranged, and also for all this the community should play an important role along with the government. And also health is an important aspect, hygiene, personal hygiene, and also how to maintain the toilets, how to maintain its surroundings so that they can avoid diseases. It is also important to educate people about the values and ethics of society, so that they live as an engaged society working towards nation building, and also help contribute to reduce poverty. And the Monreg model should be followed, so that there is more cooperative system, and hence poverty can be addressed in a positive way, so that we are able to overcome this malignant disease which is climbing in all the urban cities. I hope you will understand what poverty in urbanism is, the importance of HDI, and also the importance of eradicating poverty in urban areas. Thank you very much.